Abiy confesses.
የኤርትራ ጦር ከኋላ ኋላ ተከትሎ ሽሬ ገብቶ የአንዳንድ ሰዎችን ግለሰቦች ቤት ማፍረስ ፎቅ ማፍረስ ሲጀምር ጸብ ተጀምሯል። አክሱም ይዘን ስናልፍ አክሱም ገብቶ ወጣቶች በጅምላ ሲረሽን ጸብ ተፋፍሟል። አድዋን ይዘን ስናልፍ አድዋ ሄዶ ፋብሪካዎች ሲፈታታ ሲሰርቅ ጸብ ተጋግሏል። አዲግራት ደርሰን የመድኃኒት ፋብሪካውን የሚነቀለውን ነቅለው የማይነቀለውን ሲያፈራርሱ ጸቡ ጫፍ ደርሷል።
Picture this. Two leaders, once celebrated for forging peace in a fractured Horn of Africa, now exposed as rivals in a web of hidden agendas and unresolved grudges. On February 3, 2026, Ethiopian Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed addressed Parliament, shattering the myth of unity, revealing that the Ethio-Eritrean alliance didn't just unravel over sea routes. It fractured amid the brutal realities of the Tigray war.
ከአሁን በኋላ ከወቅሮ እናልፋለን ብትሉ ወያኔ ትተን ወደ እናንተ ነው የምንዞረው። የፕሪቶሪያ ስምምነት ሲፈረም እንዴት ቲፒኤልኤፍ ሳይጠፋ እንዴት ትግራይ ሳይወድም ፊርማ ይደረጋል በሚል ነው የመጨረሻ ጫፍ የደረሰው።
Welcome to Semonignamedia Spotlight, where we strip away the gloss of mainstream narratives to uncover the raw geopolitics. Tonight, we unpack this bombshell. Is it a battle for Red Sea control, a confrontation with war's atrocities, or the fuse for something bigger? Hold on, the Horn's turbulence is intensifying. Ethio-Eritrea quarrel. Red Sea ambitions meet war's lingering scars. For years, the 2018 peace deal between Abiy Ahmed and Eritrean President Isaias Afwerki symbolized hope, earning Abiy the Nobel Peace Prize. They stood united against common foes, but tensions have escalated. Abiy's recent parliamentary address marks a pivotal shift, publicly attributing the alliance's collapse to differing approaches during the 2020 to 2022 Tigray War, rather than solely to Ethiopia's push for Red Sea access. While Eritrea has dismissed these claims as cheap lies, the speech highlights deep-seated grievances on both sides, fueling debates over accountability and regional stability. 2020, a tactical alliance born of crisis. Flashback to November 2020. The Tigray People's Liberation Front, TPLF, launched a surprise attack on Ethiopia's northern command, plunging the region into turmoil. Facing an existential threat, Ethiopia sought support from Eritrea, leveraging shared history and mutual distrust of the TPLF. This partnership was framed as a necessary defense. Ethiopia needed reinforcements to restore order, while Eritrea viewed it as an opportunity to address long-standing border disputes from the 1998 to 2000 war. What began as a united front, however, evolved into divergent strategies that strained the bond. The split: restraint versus retribution. For years, the world was fed a sanitized version of the 2020 to 2022 conflict. But yesterday, Abiy chose raw, uncomfortable truth over diplomatic niceties. He revealed that the moral chasm between Addis Ababa and Asmara opened during the very first phases of the war. The Aksum horror. In a move that sent shockwaves through the chamber, Abiy acknowledged the mass killings in the ancient holy city of Aksum. He described a scene where the Eritrean Defense Forces, EDF, allegedly went on a rampage, executing hundreds of unarmed youth, a massacre that international rights groups like Amnesty International have long called a crime against humanity. The plunder of Adwa and Adigrat. Abiy didn't stop at the loss of life. He detailed a systematic economic execution. As Ethiopian forces advanced, he claimed their Eritrean allies were busy dismantling Ethiopia's industrial future. From textile machinery in Adwa to life-saving pharmaceutical production lines in Adigrat, the Prime Minister described trucks laden with looted Ethiopian heritage rumbling toward the Eritrean border. Eritrea has vehemently denied these allegations, with officials like Information Minister Yamane Gebremeskel calling them baseless and unworthy of response. Eritrean perspectives emphasize that their involvement was invited and defensive, countering what they see as TPLF aggression that threatened regional borders. The revenge agenda, Eritrea's grudge and the broader context. Eritrea's motivations trace back to the bitter 1998 to 2000 Ethio-Eritrean War, where the TPLF played a central role. For Isaias, the Tigray conflict offered a chance to neutralize a perceived threat. Reports from organizations like Amnesty International detail ongoing Eritrean presence in Tigray post-2022 Pretoria Agreement, including allegations of violence. However, Eritrean supporters argue this narrative overlooks TPLF provocations and the alliance's initial mutual benefits, portraying Eritrea as a reluctant partner pulled into a neighbor's internal strife. Shared responsibility, navigating the gray areas. No side emerges unscathed in this saga. While Abiy's speech pins much of the war's excesses on Eritrea, Ethiopia's role in the conflict, including a humanitarian blockade that exacerbated suffering, draws scrutiny. Yet, Abiy's admission could signal a move toward transparency, potentially aiding reconciliation with Tigray and addressing international calls for justice. Critics question the timing, suggesting it aligns with escalating Red Sea disputes, but it also reflects Ethiopia's efforts to unify domestically amid ongoing challenges. Eritrea, meanwhile, highlights Ethiopia's past praise for their joint efforts, accusing Abiy of rewriting history for political gain. Diplomatic cover and delays. Ethiopia's initial silence provided space for atrocities to unfold, though Abiy frames this as a wartime necessity to maintain alliances. Humanitarian impact. The blockade contributed to widespread hardship, but Ethiopia maintains it was targeted at insurgents, not civilians. By speaking out now, Abiy positions Ethiopia as prioritizing moral boundaries, even if belatedly. What the confession means. The bold reset. Why this matters for Ethiopia. While the confession is drama of the highest order, it is also a calculated, bold play for Ethiopia's soul. Critics may call it revisionist, but the weight of this admission offers a positive, albeit painful, path forward. A sovereign rebirth. By pinning the war's worst excesses on the EDF, Abiy is attempting to surgically remove the stain of atrocity from the Ethiopian National Defense Force, ENDF. It is a move to restore the honor of the Ethiopian soldier, framing them as a force of law and order that was betrayed by a vengeful partner. Bridging the Tigray gap. This is a massive olive branch to the people of Tigray. By validating their trauma on the floor of parliament, the federal government is signaling that it is finally ready for genuine national healing. You cannot have peace without truth, and Abiy just handed the Tigrayan people a heavy, historic piece of it. Strategic clarity. The Brotherhood of Blood was always a marriage of convenience against the TPLF. By ending the charade, Ethiopia is reclaiming its independent foreign policy. It is a declaration that Ethiopia will no longer outsource its security to a neighbor whose revenge agenda contradicts Ethiopia's own vision of a unified, prosperous federation. On justice, this could catalyze accountability. By pinpointing Eritrean atrocities, Abiy invites international probes, like those by the UN's International Commission of Human Rights Experts on Ethiopia, or even ICC referrals. It pressures Isaias, long accused of crimes against humanity domestically, but enforcement is tricky. Eritrea rejects foreign jurisdiction, and Ethiopia's transitional justice bill focuses on reconciliation over prosecution. Without independent trials, the confession risks becoming empty rhetoric, perpetuating impunity and cycles of violence. The hard path. Yes, this confession is hard on the government. It invites scrutiny and risks escalation with a defiant Asmara. But it is also a monumental act of courage. To admit that your allies committed mass killings while you stood by is the only way to ensure it never happens again. The Horn stands at a crossroads. One path leads back to the shadows of the 1998 border war. The other leads toward a unified Ethiopia that isn't afraid to look in the mirror. Abiy Ahmed just smashed the glass. Now the healing and the real work begins. Pull back the curtain, Horn of Africa. The war's dark secrets are out. Confessions aired, denials hurled, and rivalries raging. Will Abiy's truth douse the flames or fan them higher? Drop your take below. Like, subscribe, and share to spread the light. Stay fierce. Stay informed. This is Semonignamedia Spotlight.